You've been tired, not just physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, worn out. And you know why? Because you're carrying weight that was never yours to begin with. You're carrying the weight of what they think, the weight of who approves, the weight of who claps, who critiques, who compares, who doesn't understand your journey, but still has something to say about it. And I'm telling you right now, that weight is not your responsibility. Some of you are running your life like it's a public opinion poll. Every move, every word, every dream. You're filtering it through the lens of what would they say. But let me ask you, who are they? Who gave them that much power? Who told you their opinion matters more than your peace? See, when you care about everything, about everyone's perception, about every single comment, about every little vibe you pick up, you drain your power. It's like giving everybody a remote control to your emotions. And the worst part is, most of them don't even care about you. They care about controlling the version of you that makes them feel comfortable. And here's the raw truth. Not everybody is supposed to get you. Not everybody will understand your purpose, your process, or your potential. And that's okay. The mistake we make is thinking we need to fix ourselves to be more acceptable, more palatable. But you were never born to be palatable. You were born to shake rooms, to break patterns, to raise standards. And that kind of life, it will always make people uncomfortable. You can't expect peace when you're addicted to people pleasing. You can't be free if every decision you make is wrapped up in fear of judgment. And that's what's killing your joy. That's what's burning your spirit out. It's not the hard work. It's the hard weight of trying to carry opinions that were never meant for you to hold. Let me break this down. When you care too much about the noise, you miss the voice inside that actually matters. That voice that tells you you're more than enough. That voice that says keep going. But you can't even hear it anymore because it's buried under a mountain of anxiety about being liked, about being accepted, about not offending anyone, about fitting in. Let me help you. Fitting in is not the goal. Standing tall in who you are, even when it makes others uncomfortable, that's the goal. You got to learn to disappoint some people so you don't disappoint yourself, because every time you shrink to keep them comfortable, you betray the greatness inside you. And let me tell you something. You don't owe anyone your peace of mind just so they feel better about themselves. You need to reclaim your power. You need to take the remote back. You need to stop letting social media tell you who you are. You need to stop letting other people's limited vision determine your destination. You need to stop handing out front row seats in your life to people who wouldn't even show up for you in the hallway. Caring less is not about being heartless. It's about being focused. It's about knowing what actually deserves your energy and what doesn't. You think lions care about the opinion of sheep? You think eagles worry about the gossip of pigeons? No, they rise, they soar, they stay focused on what they're here to do, and so should you. Some of you have been stuck, not because you're not good enough, but because you've been trying to live two lives, one that's real and one that's acceptable. But the power, the happiness, the peace, it's in the real one. That version of you that doesn't apologize for dreaming big. That version that says no without guilt. That version that's okay walking alone if it means walking in truth. And listen, freedom doesn't come when everything's perfect. Freedom comes when you stop caring about the things that were never supposed to control you in the first place. When you stop giving attention to the critics. When you stop overthinking every move. When you realize, hey, not everyone needs to like me and I'm still worthy. Not everyone has to understand me and I'm still valid. So the next time you feel that pressure rise up, the pressure to explain yourself, to tone it down, to blend in, I want you to pause. Take a breath and remind yourself, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to live. I'm not here to perform. I'm here to fulfill purpose. Because when you stop caring about what doesn't matter, you finally make room for what does. And I promise you, the less you care, the happier you get. You ever feel like no matter what you do, it's never enough? Like you're out here grinding, pushing, giving everything you've got, and still deep down there's this voice in your head asking, did they notice? Do they see me yet? That feeling, that constant chase for someone else's approval is robbing you of your peace, your confidence, and your power. You were not born to beg for validation. You were born with value. And the problem isn't that people don't see it. The problem is that somewhere along the way, you stopped seeing it. You started measuring your worth by how many likes you get, how many people cheer for you, how many people nod their head when you speak. But let me tell you right now, real worth doesn't come from applause. It comes from alignment. It comes from knowing who you are, even when the crowd is silent. The world taught you that if people like you, you're winning. But that's a lie. That's a trap. Because when you live for the approval of others, you die by their rejection. One negative comment, one aha moment of silence, one you're not good enough, and suddenly your whole identity starts to shake. And it's not because you're weak, it's because you gave the wrong people too much power. Some of you are letting people who don't even know your story tell you how to live your life. You're letting people who never carried your burdens judge the weight of your decisions. And the crazy part, you trust their opinion more than you trust your own. Why? Because you've been conditioned to seek validation from the outside instead of cultivating it from the inside. But listen to me. No one can give you what you won't give yourself. You can have the whole world cheering for you, but if you're still doubting yourself, none of it will mean a thing. The real battle is not out there. It's in here. It's in your heart. It's in your mind. It's in that moment you look in the mirror and ask, am I enough? And the answer has to come from you, not from your followers, not from your friends, not from your family. See, when you're rooted in who you are, you don't need the crowd to confirm it. When you know your value, you can walk into a room full of people who don't clap and still keep your head high. You don't shrink. You don't switch up. You don't second guess. Because you know who you are. You're not for everybody. And that's not a weakness. That's your superpower. You got to stop waiting for people to see your worth before you start walking in it. You got to stop waiting for someone else to say you're good enough before you believe it. Your validation has to come from within. It has to be built on the foundation of truth, not trends, of purpose, not popularity. Let me be real with you. Validation is a drug, and the more you chase it, the more you need it. At first, it feels good. It gives you a hit of confidence, a rush of motivation, but then it wears off, and you need more light, more praise, more approval. And before you know it, you're not living, you're performing, you're not growing, you're surviving, and all of it just to keep people happy who don't even matter in the long run. You want to know what true happiness is? The truth is, some people will never see your value no matter how loud you scream it. And that's not your problem. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to keep showing up, keep growing, keep walking in purpose, whether they get it or not. And I know you were born with something this world didn't give you, and that means the world can't take it away. You don't need permission to shine. You don't need approval to be powerful. You don't need likes to be loved. What you need is to stop looking out there for what can only be built in here. And yeah, it takes work. It takes time. It takes healing, but it's worth it. Because once you find that validation from within, once you start living from your core instead of their expectations, you become untouchable. You become steady. You become free. So stop checking who's watching. Stop asking who's clapping. Stop wondering if they'll like you. Start asking, do I like me? Am I proud of how I showed up today? Am I growing into the version of myself that I was born to be? Because the moment you stop chasing validation and start standing in your own truth, that's the moment you take your life back. That's when you break the cycle. That's when you start living for real. And that's when you finally realize you were enough the whole time. Let me clear something up real quick, because a lot of people got this twisted. Caring less doesn't mean you don't love people. It doesn't mean you've gone cold. It doesn't mean you shut down emotionally or stop believing in connection. No, that's not what this is about. What we're talking about right now, what I need you to understand is that detachment is not indifference. It's wisdom. It's power. It's freedom. See, you've been out here thinking that to prove you care, you got to carry everything, every problem, every emotion, every relationship, every expectation. You've been giving people full access to your heart, your mind, your energy, and you wonder why you feel drained. You wonder why you're anxious. You wonder why your peace is shaky and your joy feels temporary. It's because you've attached yourself to everything. Outcomes you can't control, people you can't change, and situations that were never yours to fix. Listen to me. You are not responsible for how everybody feels. You are not here to rescue everyone. You are not obligated to hold the weight of other people's chaos just because you care. You got to stop confusing compassion with captivity. You can love people and still have boundaries. You can support someone without sacrificing your sanity. That's what detachment is. It's knowing how to show up without losing yourself in the process. And let me be real with you. Some of the people you're trying to save don't even want saving. They want attention. They want control. They want to keep you tethered to their drama because your peace exposes their dysfunction. But that's not your assignment. You are not their fixer. You are not their emotional sponge. Stop bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. You can care deeply and still protect your space. You can be kind and still say no. You can be loyal and still walk away when the energy isn't right. That's not selfish. That's strategy. That's how you protect your mission. Because if you keep tying your peace to unstable people, unstable outcomes, unstable situations, you'll never find steady ground. You'll be up and down, constantly reacting, constantly adjusting, constantly losing yourself in their storms. Detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop fusing. You stop linking your identity, your worth, your emotions to what other people do or don't do. You stop making their chaos your compass. And instead, you learn to hold space for both truth and distance. I love you, but I can't carry this for you. I care, but I'm not compromising my peace. That's detachment. It's strength. See, when you don't know how to detach, you become reactive. Someone's having a bad day, you absorb it. Someone's disappointed in you, you crumble. Someone questions your choices, you start doubting your path. That's not how you're supposed to live. You weren't built to be a sponge. You weren't built to carry weight that breaks you down. You were built to move, to grow, to lead, to rise. And you can't do that if you're tied up in everybody else's emotional roller coaster. You got to learn how to observe without absorbing. That's the secret. You can listen without taking it personally. You can care without being controlled. You can show empathy without being contangled. That's what mature love looks like. That's what peace looks like. It's not walking away from people. It's walking away from patterns that keep pulling you under. And some of y'all need to hear this. Letting go is not quitting. It's not betrayal. It's not weakness. It's clarity. It's choosing your growth over their chaos. It's saying, I won't lose myself trying to hold on to something that's hurting me. And that takes courage. Because yeah, it's easier to stay attached. It's easier to keep playing the hero. It's easier to keep fixing and explaining and justifying. But easy doesn't lead to freedom. Detachment does. You want to protect your peace? You've got to stop reacting to every little thing. You've got to stop internalizing things that don't belong to you. You've got to stop letting every mood, every comment, every shift in energy shake you. People are going to change. Situations are going to shift. Life is going to test you. But your power, your center, that's on you to protect. And the beauty is, once you learn how to detach, you stop needing closure. You stop needing permission. You stop needing everything to go your way. Because you've built peace that doesn't depend on perfection. You've built a life where your emotions don't rise and fall based on someone else's behavior. That's next level right there. That's when you really start living. Look, you can't be powerful and passive at the same time. You can't say you want peace, but keep opening the door to people and problems that disturb it. Detachment is how you say, I love me too much to stay stuck in this. It's how you say, I'm choosing my future over their dysfunction. It's how you say, I'm not cold, I'm clear, so I need you to let go of what's not serving you. Let go of trying to control the uncontrollable. Let go of trying to save people who don't want to be saved. Let go of thinking your worth is tied to how much you sacrifice. It's not the truth. The truth is, the more you detach from what's not yours, the more space you create for what is. And when you learn to let go without guilt, to love without losing yourself, to care without clinging, that's when you find real joy. That's when peace becomes your default, not your pursuit. That's when everything shifts, because detachment isn't giving up. It's growing up. You want to be free? Then you need to understand something real simple. Your peace is more valuable than their opinion. And until you believe that with everything in you, you'll keep trading your sanity for approval. You'll keep giving people permission to disturb your spirit. You'll keep inviting voices into your life that were never supposed to be there. Some of y'all are losing sleep over people who don't even think about you twice. You're letting their words run laps in your mind while they've already moved on. You're giving their opinion VIP access to your heart when they didn't even earn general admission. And for what? To be liked? To not rock the boat? To keep the peace? Let me tell you something. You can't keep their peace and your peace at the same time. You've got to decide, are you going to be free or are you going to be liked? Are you going to live for the truth or live for their approval? Because the two don't go hand in hand. See, peace doesn't show up when everybody claps for you. Peace shows up when you stop caring if they do. Peace shows up when you know what matters and what doesn't. I'm going to keep it real with you. It's not the haters that your biggest problem. It's the overthinking. It's the replaying of conversations. It's the worry about how they'll react, what they'll say, how they'll feel. That's what's weighing you down. You think your battle is out there, but it's not. The real fight is in your mind. It's in that moment where you have to choose, do I protect my peace or do I perform for people who don't even see me? Let me ask you something. How much longer are you going to let other people write your story? How much longer are you going to hold back because you're afraid someone might not agree? You are literally holding yourself hostage to avoid their disapproval. You've built a cage out of their expectations, and now you're wondering why you feel stuck. But the truth is, the key was always in your hand. You just didn't want to disappoint anyone. But let me tell you something powerful. Let's go. Let's go. There. You got to be bold enough to choose peace over popularity. You got to be strong enough to say, I don't need your approval to be at peace with who I am. And that's hard, I know. Especially when you were raised to keep the peace, to keep the smile, to keep the image. But let me remind you, peace is not pretending. Peace is not playing along. Peace is not shrinking yourself so other people don't feel insecure around your growth. Real peace is loud in its silence. It's bold in its stillness. It's knowing that you're not for everybody and being perfectly okay with that. It's waking up and not needing 1,000 people to agree with your decision because you already prayed on it, thought through it, and decided you're moving forward. See, people will always have something to say. That's just the game. If you move left, they'll say you should have gone right. If you rise, they'll say you change. If you stay the same, they'll say you lack ambition. So why waste time trying to meet a standard that doesn't even exist? You've got to protect your peace like you say, because it is. That's your fuel. That's your focus. That's where your clarity lives. And if you keep trading it for the noise of other people's opinions, don't be surprised when you wake up one day disconnected from yourself. Peace ain't passive. It's not what happens when everything around you is calm. Peace is the decision you make in the middle of the storm to not be moved by things that don't define you. And let's be honest, some of the people you're trying to impress, they're not even doing anything with their life. They're not building. They're not growing. They're not healing. They're just projecting. And yet you're handing over your energy like their opinion is gold. But what if you could take that same energy, that same time, and invest it back into you? What if you could pour it into your purpose, your healing, your goals? You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing your peace. You don't owe anyone an apology for growing, for evolving, for stepping away from dysfunction. The people who matter will understand, and the ones who don't, let them misunderstand. Let them talk. Let them wonder, because while they're watching, you're building. While they're doubting, you're becoming. While they're analyzing your every move, you're living in freedom. So I need you to stop second guessing. Stop people pleasing. Stop waiting for a round of applause. And start walking like someone who knows their peace is too expensive to be disrupted by opinions that don't pay your bills, don't feed your spirit, and don't align with your purpose. Because when you finally realize how much your peace is worth, you'll never waste it on someone else's opinion again. You ever stop to think how much of your energy is going into stuff you can't even control? Be honest. You stressing about who likes you, who doesn't. You replaying conversations, trying to figure out what you could have said differently. You're checking your phone for texts that never come. You bending, twisting, overextending just to make things work that were never even your job to fix. And the worst part, you call that being responsible. You call that caring. Let me tell you what that really is. You can't control how they feel. You can't control what they say. You can't control what happens next. You can't control the weather, the economy, the rumors, or their opinion. But you can control your response. You can control your focus. You can control your energy. You can control your peace. See, the moment you start putting energy into things outside of your power, that's the moment your peace starts leaking. That's the moment your focus gets distracted. That's when anxiety creeps in, not because life got worse, but because your thoughts got louder. You gave your attention to what was out there and forgot to guard what was in here. You know what real strength is? It's not controlling everything. It's knowing what to let go of. It's being able to say, that's not mine to carry. It's being able to stand tall while things fall apart around you, because you built your peace on purpose, not circumstance. And look, I'm not saying you shouldn't care. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel. But I am saying you got to stop giving your power to things that don't deserve it. Because every time you try to fix what's not in your control, you're neglecting what is your discipline, your habits, your growth, your mission. Some of you are so busy trying to control people, you've lost control of yourself. You've lost your focus, your time, your sleep. You're chasing peace through perfection when peace only shows up when you learn to surrender. And that surrender is a weakness. It's wisdom. It's realizing that your time, your energy, your presence is sacred, and not everything gets access to it. So ask yourself, what are you actually responsible for? What's actually in your hands? Because that's where your power is. That's where you need to show up. That's where you need to pour into. Not the noise, not the drama, not the people you can't change or the outcomes you can't predict. Just you, your process, your path, your next right step. And I get it. I know it's hard, especially when you're used to being the one who holds it all together. Especially when you feel like if you don't control it, it'll fall apart. But maybe it needs to fall apart. Maybe the breaking is part of the blessing. Maybe what you're trying to fix is actually the very thing is keeping you stuck. And the only way to move forward is to release it. Let go of trying to make them understand. Let go of trying to be perfect. Let go of needing their approval before you take that step. Let go of the fear that says, what if it doesn't work? And lean into the faith that says, but what if it does? Your peace isn't found in certainty. It's found in trust. Trusting that you're doing the best you can with what you have. Trusting that you'll figure it out when the time comes. Trusting that even when things don't go your way, it's still working for you. Control is an illusion. You think you've got a tight grip on life, but life's been showing you over and over, you're not in control of everything. So stop wasting energy trying to be. Start putting that energy into what actually matters. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you stand in it. You can't control the wind, but you can set your sail. That's what separates people who grow from people who just go through life. The ability to stay focused when everything around them says panic. The ability to say, no, I'm not giving my peace away today. I've got too much to build. I got too much to do. I'm not going to get distracted by what's out of my hand. You want to be happy? Then stop trying to fix everything. Start flowing. Start trusting. Start releasing. Your peace doesn't need conditions. It needs clarity. And clarity comes when you let go of the chaos. This ain't about giving up. It's about growing up. It's about finally realizing that not everything is yours to carry. And the moment you get that, the moment you truly understand the difference between what's in your hands and what's not, that's when you're free. Because freedom doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. Let me say this loud and clear. You weren't put on this earth to prove anything to anybody. Not your worth, not your value, not your purpose, not your pace. You're not here to compete with people who don't even know who they are. You're not here to match energy with folks still trying to figure out what direction they're even walking in. You're here to become, not to impress. You've been spending too much time trying to show people you're good enough. You've been wasting too much energy trying to match their expectations, trying to outdo somebody else's version of success, trying to get applause from people who don't even clap for themselves. And the wild part is you already are enough. Right now, not 10 pounds from now, not a promotion from now, not a relationship or an award or a blue check from now. Now, see, comparison is a trap. It'll have you running someone else's race, wearing shoes that don't even fit, trying to hit goals that were never assigned to you. And you'll look up one day realizing you spent years chasing something that was never meant for your spirit. Just because it's loud doesn't mean it's aligned. Just because it looks good doesn't mean it's for you. That's why the moment you stop trying to prove yourself is the moment you actually find yourself. That's when you start making decisions from a place of alignment instead of anxiety. That's when you stop overthinking, second guessing, and apologizing for walking in your truth. Because when you know who you are, you stop needing permission. And here's the truth. They're never going to fully get it. Some people are never going to understand your fire, your moves, your heart. And that's okay. You weren't built to be understood by everyone. You weren't made to fit in their mold. That vision you got, that hunger you carry, that dream that keeps you up at night, it wasn't downloaded into them. It was given to you. So why would you expect them to get it? You've got to get comfortable being misunderstood. You got to be okay walking alone if it means walking in alignment. Because trying to explain your spirit to people who only speak ego, that'll drain you, that'll shrink you, that'll distract you from the mission. And let me remind you, you weren't sent here to play small so other people feel big. You weren't born to blend in when you were called to break cycles. But that only happens when you stop proving and start becoming. And becoming is a whole different lane. It's quiet, it's focused, it's sacred. It's not about proving anything. It's about living in truth. You see, the real glow up is not showing people you made it. It's not needing to show them at all. It's when you stop showing up to be seen and start showing up to serve. It's when the grind becomes a gift, not a performance. It's when your value comes from your identity, not your image. That's when peace hits different. That's when joy becomes consistent. That's when you finally feel free. And I get it. I know it's hard when the world tells you to brand everything, to flex for the algorithm, to turn every move into content. But let me ask you, who are you when the cameras are off? Who are you when nobody's clapping? Can you still show up for yourself when there's no one around to validate you? Because if you can't love yourself without the likes, you're not living. You're performing. So stop trying to earn your place in rooms you were already qualified to walk into. Stop auditioning for people who don't even know their own worth. Stop hustling for a validation that can't sustain you, because the moment you stop chasing proof is the moment you start standing in power. You don't need to explain your growth. You don't need to defend your decisions. You don't need to apologize for doing what's best for your peace. You don't need to water yourself down so they can digest you easier. Let them choke on your truth if they have to, but don't shrink. When you stop proving yourself, you create space to improve yourself. Now you're not performing, you're progressing. Now you're not impressing, you're impacting. That's the shift. That's the elevation. That's what it looks like to really live. So if you're tired of the wait, if you're tired of the hustle that never ends, if you're tired of the game, opt out. Step off the stage. Return to yourself. Come back home. Because everything you've been looking for out there, peace, freedom, clarity, it's already inside you. And when you finally realize that, nobody can touch you. Not opinions, not pressure, not rejection, because now you're not proven. You're becoming. And becoming is where joy lives.